So just to give you guys a brief kind of history of what's been happening, so that you understand when I say harassment, all the things that these neighbors have done, specifically this person behind me, what have they done? They started off, okay, because I have to say this too. My mom owns one unit that she rents out now, and this person owns her house. Okay, but what has taken place since I have been here consistently? They have done things, her and my mother have collaborated to do things against me. Now, in the beginning, my mother was attempting to play like both sides, to try to keep me on board, but also play that side. And then all of a sudden, all of the true colors just came forward. But one of the major things that they would do specifically is she would put poop on my door. If it wasn't her, it was somebody putting poop on my porch. I mean, why? Because we have dogs, right? But there's an open gate out here where all the dogs in the community can come in and pee in this little area. Okay, so she would automatically say nothing was happening until I moved in here. No dogs were coming in the gate and peeing in this area until I moved in here. Like I'm the only one that had a dog, which is not true because my mom had two at one point. She had my brother's pit bull and she had a little Shih Tzu. Named Romeo. You can see him on my channel. You can see both of them, Blaze and Romeo. But anyway, other people have dogs as well. Okay, but she's been trying to like basically harass me. So what ended up happening, if I just kind of nutshell everything, she was putting poop on my porch, and they would do little stuff like that. Put poop on my porch, put poop in front of the house, right, and stuff like that. So then what I did was I put up a sign. I put up a sign that says I have neighbors to do this, and this is what's happening. So when everybody passed by the sign, I'm letting them know I understand that you're doing it. Now, mind you, you're not doing it while I can see you. Okay, you're not doing it then. Okay, so what you're doing is you're waiting to an opportune moment, as cowards tend to do. Okay, and you're putting poop on my porch. As long as I don't catch you doing it, you can continue to be stealthy and secretive. Okay, so then it went from there to them trying to control what was going on in the backyard, and did I say making a whole bunch of false reports and false accusations against my housing. So I've had to file a complaint against them because they have been doing this consistently. So at that time, this is before all of the true colors came, my mom would come and try to convince us to let the person that was doing the community gardening, if it wasn't my uncle, then it was this other guy. His nickname is Chili. I don't know what his real name is, but they would come and say, okay, let him do your backyard. I'm going, no, he's not doing my backyard. Why? Because I don't trust it. Just like my spirit, there's just something about him I don't trust. So yeah, no. Right. And then my mom was like, okay, well, let me, she convinced my husband because they would keep asking if my cousin at the time, because she was his caretaker, and her husband could cut down the yard because we hadn't done it yet. And we didn't have the tools. So it's like, I was like, okay, I still, we can do it. But if, he gave them, he's basically saying he don't have a problem with it. So it was almost like I'm the only person that had a problem with it. So I let him do it. Well, prior to that, the neighbor next door, this is before all of this stuff happened, she bought some rat poison. And she said she has rats. And I'm like, okay, well, we don't have no rats. So okay. And she was like, well, I bought some rat poison, so can you put this down in the yard? I said, I'm not gonna put it down in the yard because my puppies are small, right? And they could eat it and they could die, so I'm not gonna do it. Well, she was like, she ain't really worried about the dog. I'm like, okay, well, the answer is no. So then what she did was she got with my mom, and my mom and her approached me together and asked me again. And I said no. I said no the last time. I don't know what you went and got my mom for. I don't know what you thought that was gonna do. But the answer is still no. Okay, so here we come forward back to them doing our yard. When we gave permission for them to do our yard, they put the poison down anyway. What happened? My dogs ate the rat poison. At that time, my dogs had just had their first litter of puppies and literally like to kill mom and dad. And all the puppies died except two. But before they died, I had took them all to the hospital. I showed her one. I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with him. He's not feeling good. I'm going to take him to the doctor. And I took him to the vet. And when I took him to the vet and explained everything, he said, it sounds like this, but he had to do blood tests on one. And when he did blood tests on one, he found that it was rat poison, right? And then my mom, because historically we have been the two that would take care of sick dogs in our family. Okay, what she did was she offered to pay for the vet bill and I would have to pay her back, which I agreed to at that time before knowing that she had anything to do with it. And then what I did was I went on ahead. I'm trying to give them IVs, flush all of the stuff out of their system. I did save two puppies and our mom and dad, but for the most part, the damage was already done, right? And like I said, all the other dogs, all the other puppies died except two. One I did home, and then the other one I did home right away because there was also some stuff going on with mom. Like it devastated my dogs, but especially her because she watched her puppies like gag, die, and choke to death and all of this stuff, and she couldn't do anything about it. And my dogs are like this specific one is really nurturing. She's like a really good mom, so it was really damaging emotionally, and it was tearing me up. Right. So long story short, that happened. You killed my puppies. All of them died except two. You were putting poop on my yard, but I couldn't prove any of it. And then all of a sudden, my mom told me while she was taking me to get the medicine at that point, we were in the truck and she literally said that I promise on everything I love, that she said they put the rat poison down. I said, you did what? And then after she ended up admitting that they put the rat poison down, I said, y'all did it after I told you no. I cut off all. It just created an instant wedge. And then do you know what she did with the two puppies that lived? She literally came over here and told us, me and my husband, that she wanted one of the puppies in exchange for the money she had spent. And my husband agreed. I'm like, what is going on here? I'm like, absolutely not. I said, not only are you not getting a puppy, but you killed him. Y'all are the reason. So that bill belongs to you. And then I made a report, right? And that's all you could really do because I didn't have any other witnesses that heard her say they put it down, right? And then you move forward. So as it continues to go, what the next situation happened along with just all of these false, calls being put into housing and property management company and all this type of stuff, the harassment continued. And then after that, I sent an email to my landlord and to the property manager telling them everything that happened. And then she stopped giving them permission, because what they were doing was they were coming and using the water here for ground maintenance and whatever they felt like they wanted to do, because the property owner gave them permission. But here's the funny part: the property owner gave them permission to use the water, but took her name off the water bill and tried to make us accountable for the water, right? Even though our lease agreement said that we didn't have to pay water. Okay. And then you had the property management company also doing a whole bunch of things like harassment wise. So I'm saying this is such a huge situation. It's not small. And then the last thing that happened here most recently was, because the owner of my property and this, the bully lady behind me that's been harassing also consistently, because they have had whatever animosity that they have had historically since they've been here, the gate between the two properties is super raggedy. Now, mind you, my neighbor on the other side, her gate was like that as well, but she's a responsible homeowner. So she came out and, she asked me if if she could have the contact information for the homeowner, and I gave it to her. But when she came out, the homeowner did not want to help her pay to repair at least halfway for her gate, so she just paid for it herself. So this gate is still leaning and folding over, wood rot, the whole nine. And I kid you not, this lady behind me set a big old huge metal toolbox, the kind that goes across the back of a flatbed type truck, or a truck. Those heavy ones, she laid it up against the gate, and it caused that whole section of gate to fall into our yard. I took pictures of that as well. And what ended up happening was my son and I went out to fix it, and she began to cuss and rant and rave about us picking it up. And I told my son, now technically I can fix it. I'm like, but why would I continue to be nice to people who are being disrespectful to me? And then she began to call me out of my name and all this stuff and threatening me. So then at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm about tired of you threatening me. We can talk about it on this grass over here. Come on, let's have a conversation. She refused to come and have that conversation. Okay, after consistently making threats in front of my son. So now we have this issue. When I tell you pray for me, because I'm being as Christian and Christ-like as possible, but the real me, don't mind. Don't mind. When I tell you this is all Jesus, take the wheel. Yeah. So this situation happened. I pulled in. This is my neighbor that stays over there. And this is our spot. And this is where the car is. I pulled up so that I would be able to bring groceries in the house, just so you can see that I'm not blocking anybody's spot. This is her park right here, and this is her car. This is another car that's actually preventing her from being able to pivot into her parking stall. There's more than enough room. I'm way up here. Now, if I wasn't here, she would be able to pull up and back up. But we came outside because we heard excessive honking late in the evening while we were eating dinner rather late. And while listening to the honking, I came outside to see what it was, make sure I wasn't blocking, to which she then asked me if I was going to be moving my car so that she can pull into her driveway. And I said, I will. Although I'm not blocking or preventing you from getting the car. Actually, this other person is. But I'll move. And then she said something about she shouldn't have to. And then she called me out of my name, which upset my nerves. Why? Because why am I trying to be nice to somebody that's ignorant? She's already shown me she don't have any common sense. And, she's just a bully. These cars are not belonging to residents here, but I believe they belong to her brother. So they kind of keep these parking spots blocked so nobody can park in those, which could be like a temporary pull-in, or if somebody else had more than one car or something. But they keep these blocked to hinder anybody else from parking, any guests. But at the same time, her guests come in, double block, park behind me and my car, and then sometimes they have like family cookouts and actually have used my stall without my permission. So yeah, there's that.